Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex, and I'm here to bring you my top 10 board games of 2021. I can't believe I'm the first person ever to do a list like this. I feel very grateful that I had this idea before anybody else did and that I could bring you my top 10 games. Obviously, I'm joking, and there are a lot of top 10 games of the year lists, but this one is mine. And I will say, I played 62 games that came out in 2021, so I consider this list definitive. Nobody else played more than 62 games this year except for the people who did. This list does not include amazing games like Destinies, Wild Space, Funfair, 10, all games I loved, but it's hard to make choices. You gotta cut it down to 10 for a list like this, and so I've done it, and this is my top 10 games of the year. Number 10 on my list is a game of card comboing, Kokopelli from Queen Games and Stefan Feld. In this game, all the cards have different special abilities, and when you play a card in front of you, you get that special ability. So you are trying to have cards in front of you that really combo well together. Oh, this card lets me do this, and this card lets me do that, and together they are friends. One of the most interesting parts of this game, though, is your village has 4 spots. So you can play cards in front of you and have 4 special abilities in front of you at any time. But you can also play cards on the 2 closest spots from your 2 neighbors. So your play area is technically 8 spots, and I've never seen that before where you can also play on the person to your left and the person to your right. And so you're constantly thinking like, well, if I play a card on them, then I'm helping them get a special ability, but maybe I can also mess up their combo. Maybe I can mess up their engine that they have in their cards. So, it's really fun where you're like, do I want this special ability or do I want to mess with somebody else? There's a lot of player interaction in this game, and it's really fun. And it's also takes about 45 minutes to play, so it's quick. It's a quick card game. If you like card-based games that are all about card combos, then Kokopelli is very fun. Number 9 on my list is the party game Snakes. Don't look at this cover too long or you'll throw up, okay? I'm sorry in advance. But this is a very fun game. This is a hidden role trivia game. And that sounds like a weird combination because it is, but it works, okay? I don't know any other games out there that do this. I don't even know anybody out there that would try to do this, that would have the audacity to pull off a hidden role trivia game. But Big Potato has done it, and it's very fun. In the game, you are either a snake, a mongoose of truth, or an ordinary human. And so the way the game works is there's a trivia question, and everybody close their eyes, and then only the snakes get to see the correct answer. Everybody closes their eyes again, and then you have a 2-minute open discussion period where you're trying to figure out what is the right answer, and the snakes are trying to lie to you and lead you astray because they're snakes and you can't trust them. That's been a tale as old as time. You can't trust snakes, okay? Snakes, international symbol of evil. But it's really fun because the questions are weird enough and random enough that nobody really knows the answer to them ahead of time. So you're just kind of trying to logic your way through things and figure out who you can trust. And it's a very, very social game. And it's a game that also plays very quickly. You can play a game of this in 20 minutes and then reset and play again. So I love hidden role games just in general. I think they're very fun. I like the intrigue of who can I trust? And the answer is trust nobody, not even yourself. But if you like hidden role games, then this is a fun, interesting, unique take on a hidden role game. And it's a silly good time. Snakes. Number 8 on my list is the dice placement area control game, Brew. I like to describe this game as beautiful and brutal. B squared, that's what Brew... Oh, but Brew is also a B. This is B tripled. Oh, I just realized that right now. Beautiful, brutal brew. That's how you got to say it. From here on out, that's how I'm always going to describe this game. I'm just dropping brilliance, just brilliant nuggets here on the fly in my top 10 video. Brilliant and beautiful brew. Honestly, that's the best way to describe it though, because this game, the look of it, the aesthetics of it are so gorgeous. The custom dice are amazingly beautiful. The artwork on the card is stunning. But the mechanics, boy, are they brutal. You get to screw over people so much. And, you know, don't take it personally because everybody's screwing over everybody in this game. It's not I'm trying to mess you up. It's I'm trying to mess everybody up. And so I don't mind it because it's just so prevalent in the game. The area control aspect of this game is very strategic and thinky. You are placing dice in forest areas, and whoever has the most dice gets to, you know, win that card and get the points from that forest location. But there are so many ways to swap dice, to burn dice off of locations, to just do all these different things as the round progresses. It's just, you think you have control over it, and then somebody messes you up more than you could even imagine. But you don't even get that mad because everything's so gorgeous. You're like, oh no, I've lost control. How dare you? But I'm just going to stare at these gorgeous dice and just take solace in the beauty during my sad time right here. And I'm okay that I'm sad because it looks so good. That's what this game is. So if you like area control games, if you like, you know, dice placement games, this is one of the most fun ones I've played that's out there, provided you're okay with some take that in your game. Number 7 on my list is the epic worker placement tower defense game, After the Empire. And when I say epic, I mean epic. Or I mean, just look at the size of this box, man. It is big, and it is bold, and it is fun. I'll say about the game, the worker placement aspect of the game is very solid, but it's nothing that you haven't seen before. Where this game sets itself apart is the tower defense aspect and the point aspect of this game. The tower defense part is really, really fun. You are constantly upgrading your castle and trying to defend your castle from, you know, invaders that are coming from all sides. And you can use the resources that you've collected in the worker placement aspect of this game to upgrade your walls to stone walls, to add soldiers and mercenaries, to upgrade your turrets to stone turrets. That part's really fun, and you never know where the invaders are coming from. That's the, like, anxiety fun part of this game where, you know, sometimes you just gamble and you're like, I'm going to put all of my soldiers on this wall and I just am hoping that the invaders come from that direction. If they come from this direction, well, I'm screwed and I'm getting sacked. But that's a chance I got to take right now. And then when, you know, you flip over the cards and they are coming from that area, you're like, yes, ha ha ha, I gambled and it paid off. And it's just really fun where you never know where the invaders are coming from and you're just trying to, like, upgrade your castle to withstand whatever onslaught is about to come. That part's really fun. And I also really like, they have this really innovative scoring mechanism where you are constantly going up in this gold track, but you can spend gold to do certain things in the worker placement aspect of this game. So you are literally giving up points in order to do certain things. And so there's this real push and pull throughout the game of, like, do I want the points or do I want to give up the points to do this cool thing? Which one is more beneficial right now? And I've never seen a game where, you know, you're constantly going up and down on the point track in order to be able to do certain things. And one of the brilliant things is sometimes you want to give up points. You want to give up gold because it moves you down in a threshold and you're going to get hit by less invaders if you are below a certain threshold. So yeah, it's really interesting of, like, you know, in most games you're like, I just want all the points I can have all of the time. And in this game you're like, well, I would like points, but I also don't want too many points because that's going to mess me up even more. And I love that, like, interesting thinky part of this game of, like, when do you want the points and when do you not want the points. If you like tower defense games on your phone or on your computer, this is one of the best tower defense board games I've ever played. Super fun. Check it out. After the Empire. Number 6 on my list of the top games of 2021 is a game I've actually lent out, so I don't have it in front of me right now, but it is the super fun party game Dream Crush. This is a game that your experience of this game is entirely dependent on who you're playing it with. If you play this game with a group of silly, funny people, then this game is really, really fun. And if you play this game with a group that's a little bit more introverted, it might not be as fun. So know about that going into it. But with the right group of people, I love this game. You have 3 potential people to go on dates with, and the photos that they have are all very interesting, funny type of people. And you're going to reveal information about each of these people through a series of successive rounds and cards that you have in front of them. And every time you reveal more information about them, you have to choose to go on a date with one of them. And the most fun part of this game is you get points by guessing who other people want to go on a date with. And so if you get it right, you get points. And when you reveal who you want to go on a date with, you have to justify your reasoning. And that's where this game is really funny, where you're like, well, I was going to pick old Lance over there, but I'm picking Teddy because Teddy sings the song Frozen every time he's in the shower, and I love Frozen. And so I want, I want to go on a date with him because maybe he'll serenade me, and I like being sung to, okay? So I'm going with my man Teddy. It's stuff like that where you can come up with funny justifications, and if you're in a funny group, you will laugh a lot at why people choose certain people to go on dates with. Number 5 on my list is the very thinky engine builder, Furnace. This game has some of the best ratio of strategy to playing time that I've ever played. You can play this game in 45 minutes, 30 if everybody knows what they're doing, and yet it is wildly thoughtful and wildly strategic. And I love a game that can do that combination, that can pull off that combination. And Furnace does that better than almost any other game out there. There's a really interesting auction mechanic in the game where you're bidding on certain cards. And one of the things that's most interesting about that is, in most auctions, you're trying to win certain cards. Well, in this game, losing is almost just as important as winning a card. You want to lose cards to get resources from the cards. Yes, you don't get to add that card to your production line, but sometimes you just need those resources to do everything else you want to do. And so it's really interesting where you're sometimes you'll bid on a card and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to lose that one, and then nobody else will go for it, and you're like, what? I don't want to win that. I'm mad that I am winning a card, and that is an interesting dynamic because there's no other game that I can think of like that. And then when you run your production line in this game, you're just it's so thoughtful, it's so much strategy and so much thinkingness that you're literally just mumbling to yourself okay, well, if I get this here, then that oil drum will then get me points over here, but I need a coal to be able to do that. So if I can put this card here, and that, I honestly I have to keep myself from mumbling away my strategy. People are gonna mess me up in this game because I've mumbled what I'm trying to do, and then other people can screw me over because they know what I'm trying to do, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, you just said it under your breath, so I know what you're going for. So if you want a thinky game that plays very quickly, check out Furnace. Number 4 on my list is the highly thematic game, The Night Cage. This is the creepiest game I've ever played, and I mean that in a good way. Everything just feeds into the creepiness of it. The look of the game is creepy. The theme of the game is creepy. The mechanics of the game are creepy. This is a game that will stay in my collection forever because I'm going to play this every Halloween season. For sure. Anytime Halloween comes around, I'm playing The Night Cage. In the game, you are trapped in a labyrinth of perpetual darkness, and you have a candle, and all you have is just that candle. And so thematically, the way that works is that you only light up the tiles just around you. So you are trying to move around and find these keys and these gates, but the maze is always changing around you, and it's really, really interesting. Yes, there is luck involved in this game because you don't know what's going to come up. You don't know what tiles are going to come up, and if a bunch of monsters come up in a row, you might lose. But it also plays in an hour, and so even if you lose, just reset it and play it again. I love the look and the feel of this game. You can even put on some like spooky music and play the game by candlelight, and you will scare the bejeebers out of a bunch of people. You're going to creep everybody out, and I love that about this game. So if you want like a thematically creepy game, then the Night Cage is so much fun. Number 3 on my list is the dice game, Cubitos. If you like dice, well then this game has the most dice. You will be rolling gobs of dice. This is a like a bag builder game, but there is no bags. You are throughout the game purchasing different types of dice, and every different color of dice is going to get you a different special ability. So you're trying to decide what you want, and by the end of the game, you know, you might be rolling 15 dice at one time, and it's super fun and rewarding just to throw that many dice onto the table and see what comes up. It is a push your luck game where you are, if you don't have any hits on the dice faces, then you bust. And so you're rolling, and there will be those times where you're rolling 12 dice and there's only one dice face that shows up, but you're like, yes, thank you, one dice that kept me alive here. All I need is one. And so you are just throwing dice and pushing your luck and trying to move around these racetracks, and it's just super fun and rewarding. And one of the things I think they did very well in the game is there are a bunch of different dice types, but there are cards that change the special abilities of those dice. So there are essentially 7 different ways that each dice color can be played. And so you can play through 7 different games that they recommend, and then at the end you can mix and match and kind of create your own custom game with it. And it's just, I mean, if you like dice rolling, that's why you're going to play this game. It's super fun to push your luck and roll a bunch of special ability dice. That's Cubitos. It's a super fun racing game. I think you should check it out. Number 2 on my list is the nature-themed game, Cascadia. This is a game that surprised me. When I first saw information on it, I was like, oh, that seems fun, but it doesn't seem like there's enough to it. But there is totally enough to it. The decisions in this game are simple, but they're not easy. And I love that about it. You know, you're trying to build out your habitat types with tiles and then place these wildlife tokens on the tiles, and different wildlife are going to score you in different ways. You know, you need 2 bears together with no other bears touching them, and then that will give you a certain amount of points. You need hawks by themselves, and there are a ton of different cards in this game that change the scoring up, so it's very replayable. And again, like the decisions where I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, you know, you got to take a wildlife token and a tile together, and just that, having that choice where you have to take 2 things together makes it very interesting, because there are times where you're like, man, I really want that tile, but I don't care about that token that's associated with it. Do I go for that anymore, or do I take these other ones because, yes, I don't need those as much, but I could use both of them that are together? And I like the game because it moves quickly. You know, there's not a lot of analysis paralysis. You go, okay, what do I want? I'm going to go for this. I'm going to add it to my ecosystem over here. And so it just moves quickly, and you never feel like you're sitting there waiting for someone to make a decision for 5 minutes. And again, like I said, I think that's the best way to put it, is that the decisions are simple, but they're not easy. And yet it still moves really quickly, and it's very rewarding. At the end of the game, when you look down and you've built your whole ecosystem, you're like, I did something. I created something. It's fun. there's not a ton of player interaction in this game, and that's one of the reasons I think it surprised me as well. Is normally I like games that have more player interaction than this, but it's just so calm and peaceful and rewarding that it doesn't bother me that I'm not messing with other people's habitats. I'm just building my own and trying to do it in the best way I can. Cascadia. And my number one game of 2021 is the highly addictive game, Super Mega Lucky Box. This is another game that is like really simple but so much fun. It is a bingo mechanic where you are flipping over numbers and then you are getting to cross off those numbers on cards that you have in front of you. And anytime you finish a column or a row, you're going to get a special benefit, and those special benefits can cascade. You know, you're like, I finished this column, which gets me this number, which allows me to cross off this, which allows me to finish that row, which gets me this, which gets me that, which gets me this. It is so addicting and fun when you just create those cascading combos. And that is all this game is. It is just cascading combo after cascading combo, and it makes it so much fun. The game is simple enough, you could play this with anybody. I can teach anybody this game in 2 minutes and have it on the table playing, and it plays super quick, 20 minutes, that I never want to just play this game once. I play this game 3, 4, 5 times in a row because I'm just like, more, give me more, Super Mega Lucky Box, give me more. It's super fun and addicting. Super Mega Lucky Box. You can play this with anybody and enjoy it and have a great time. Nobody is going to play this game and not have a good time. I fully believe that. And so that is why it is my favorite game of 2021. All these games are great though, and you should check out all of them if you haven't already. I mean, there's a lot of other great games too that I didn't even get to talk about in this video. So in the end, don't let anybody tell you what's the best or the brightest out there. Decide for yourself, play games, have fun doing it. All right, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.